Innovation is one way to get to victory lane. Getting up on the wheel is usually the best tactic, however, on a short track. That's what Chase Cabry is going to try to do today. Drag racing champ Tanner Gray is looking for his first NASCAR win. The engines have fired. It's time to go racing. Welcome to South Boston Speedway and Who'sYourDriver.org Twin 100s. This is race number 1, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. Here this afternoon, Ralph Shaheen alongside Landon Castle and Derek Fernisiglio prowling all the action down on pit road. Well, Landon, this is a very famous racetrack. Let's show everybody where it's located at.
Yeah, we're just a couple hours from Richmond, where I raced a couple weeks ago, but I made my first K&N Pro Series start here, Ralph.
It's a fun short track, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. You talk about famous. They're famous for their fried bologna.
Gotta love that. Might be the secret to speed today. Sam Mayer is hoping so, because he'd like to extend that points lead between him and Derek Kraus. And our buddy Brandon McReynolds, who does a lot of races with us here on NBCSN, he's right in the thick of it too, just 6 behind.
Yeah, Spencer Davis there too is a familiar name here in this series that's had a couple good runs this season.
Brandon McReynolds, unfortunately, not running this race last season.
So he might give up his top 5 point spot after this week. Got some pace laps going on here, getting ready to start.
Last car rolling away, that's Jason Miles in the 36. There's only been 2 races on the East and 2 in the West. Derek Kraus and Sam Mayer in the East, both have victories. And you saw the 2, of course, Haley Deegan with the big win to open up the K&N West season.
Big first win for Sam Mayer at Bristol.
Yeah.
A lot of speed. He's got a lot of promise. That GMS team has got his car dialed in, especially at Bristol. Could see numerous wins in his future.
Here comes the field tightening back up. You saw the 87 of Chuck Buchanan Jr. And here the car's up at the front. Tanner Gray in the 15 alongside Drew Dollar. Let's hear from Tanner from earlier today with Derek Fernisiglio.
Yeah, I'm super excited. All the guys from DGR Crosley and back at the race shop have done an awesome job bringing an awesome Toyota Camry to the racetrack this weekend. We've had good speed since we unloaded. That gives me a lot of confidence. It gives them a lot of confidence, and I'm ready to get this race going. I think we'll be really good. I think we've made the right adjustments throughout practice today and put ourselves in a good position to have a good shot at the end.
K&N West season opener Haley Deegan took the victory out on the dirt in Las Vegas. There she is in the monster back, number 19 on the inside. Shoving her way past Jagger Jones in the 6. Doing a great job to get her first career victory. She's competing on the West and on the East this year. She's here in South Boston. She had some problems with her car, failed to make a qualifying attempt because they had a challenge with the kill switch.
Yeah, the kill switch on the steering wheel typically is in case of a stuck throttle, but the problem with if you have an issue with the kill switch, the car won't start.
That was the situation for her. Before we go racing, here's Derek.
Well, before we go green, this race could become pretty interesting. A lot of drivers are going to be up on the wheel right away because there's weather in the area. And if we can get to the halfway point, just 51 laps, NASCAR will deem it a completed race. So a lot of the guys in this field right now, no weather is in the area. They need to pick up as many spots as they can because we can only be racing to the halfway point tonight.
That's key, Landon. And what do you like about racing on this track?
I love South Boston because it's always had kind of a multiple groove aspect to it. I think that historically the outside groove has kind of been the primary lane, but it's moved down to the bottom over the past few years. And with Derek talking about the weather coming in and drivers want to race hard, I see them needing to kind of save their tires a little bit just in case it does run the full distance.
I love the stat of 8 different winners in 8 races here.
Absolutely.
We might get another one here tonight at 9th, right?
Yeah.
NHRA reigning Pro Stock drag racing champion Tanner Gray on the pole, but Drew Dollar right alongside.
Derek Kraus starting 8th, coming from the West Coast. He's had some speed this year early on.
And you see Haley Deegan is back into the field, and Mason Diaz will not make the start. He wrecked during practice, so the 24 not making the call to the grid.
can hear them cleaning out their carburetors, get their engines ready.
Here we go. Getting ready to go racing for the first of two here at South Boston.
A little tough jockey there for the 54 on the start. Drew Dollar.
Yeah, Dollar really struggles. Gray goes to the front, and Chase Cabry in the white number 4 tucks right in behind him. They've already put a couple of car lengths between them and the rest of the pack, including the 18 of Colin Garrett.
CMO, they use a lot of racetrack here at South Boston. It seems like a small track, but you can really run below the yellow line there as the drivers do off the corners. It kind of helps the car turn and get a good straight shot off the exit, but the outside line keeps good momentum, so that's what makes this such a great historic track with multiple grooves of racing.
Max McLaughlin right up there in the black and gold number 1. He's inside the top 6. There's the 16 of Derek Kraus, the Napa car, just in front of his Bill McAnally Racing teammate, the number 19 of Haley Deegan.
I wouldn't mess with Haley Deegan too much early on. She's capable of showing some aggression, and she knows where to put her car when she needs to.
A little smoke coming out of the 21, Sam Mayer.
Yeah, that could just be the valence kind of scrubbing a little bit on the short runs with low air pressure. Maybe they probably have some fresh brakes on the car too, so the brake pads are kind of breaking in a little bit. Looks like a little more smoke than just that, though.
Black and red, number 1, Max McLaughlin, right in the thick of things early on here at South Boston. K&N Pro Series Racing at NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell.
He's climbed his way back to 4th.
And that's Colin Garrett, who you just met in our next gen in the black 18. Just trying to hold him off. Oh, not so much there as Dollar comes in deep.
It's an aggressive move 10 laps into the race. I think Colin could have given him a little more room, though.
Well,
the thing I'm worried about for these drivers now is just to make sure you don't have a cut tire when you have that kind of contact.
Yeah, it was a very aggressive move. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, I think Drew he really didn't have the position. Colin couldn't have done much. He couldn't have done much for him there.
Max McLaughlin almost picked off 2 spots in there. Here's another look at it.
It's such a good run on him coming off of turn 4 there.
He was hard on the brakes. You can see the nose dip.
Yeah, and these cars, I mean, they're designed to turn left when you let out of the gas. So when you let out of the gas and jump on the brakes as hard as Drew did just there, it's going to get loose underneath somebody.
There's the number 6 car, Ruben Garcia Jr. Right now, he's holding down the last spot in the top 10.
Travis Milburn's been chomping on his left rear here. Kind of can see the same scenario setting up with what we just saw with Drew Dollar and Garrett.
Meanwhile, Tanner Gray up front. First lap's led in a K&N Pro Series East event. He's looking awful strong, hoping for that first career victory here today.
Seen a lot of improvement over the last year with Chase Cabry and that Rev Racing team. He's got a solid second place run. He's not letting Tanner Gray get too far away just yet. We're only 15 laps in. I mean, there's still some tire saving, aspect to this short track race here. So 100 laps is just long enough that you can about smoke your stuff by the end of the race if you're going too hard early.
Speaking of smoke, still seeing a lot of it out of Sam Mayer's car, and it seems to be when he's letting off the gas. Here's Spencer Davis in the 30. And he's holding off Derek Kraus right now. That's for 7th.
Derek just seems like he's rolling through the center of the corner so much better. You really have to be able to change directions here at South Boston, just like Derek did right there through the middle of 1 and 2.
Kraus with 6 career K&N Pro Series wins. Some of those in the East and some in the West.
It's pretty impressive for someone like Kraus and his McAnally team to be able to go back and forth from East to West Coast. You know, they do have a little bit of a disadvantage on the West Coast with just personnel and technology. So to come over here to the East Coast where these teams are so close to all the NASCAR industry.
Ooh, Kraus got in him a little bit there, Landon.
That's right, and compete.
Loosened him up, and he's going to move underneath him past him now.
That's good short track racing right there. I want to say Spencer's going to try to give him a shot here. Oh, he can't get to him.
This is the first time Kraus has actually raced here at South Boston, and now Haley Deegan in the black 19 with the monster claw on the hood, closing up onto the backside of Davis.
She just saw her teammate make an aggressive move. I think that she could probably try the same thing.
She made a very aggressive one in Vegas to win the season opener on the West, so why not? She saved that one at the very end of the race. Still pretty early on here, almost a quarter of the way through. And this is the first of 2 races in the day for these guys. You will see race number 2 as well here on NBCSN. Oh, Kraus got loose. Went way wide. There he is. Problems for the 16.
Must have a flat tire or something.
Could that have come from that aggressive move to get by Davis?
It definitely can. Looks like he's getting it back up to speed, though. He could have just got loose into the corner. I mean, this place is a little edgy on entry.
Meanwhile, here's Drew Dollar. And we continue to follow the 16, Derek.
Derek Kraus just swept up the track pretty high. After talking with the crew and listening on the radio, it sounds like these guys no brakes in the number 16 Napa Toyota. Unfortunately, they're trying to ride it out and get a caution, hopefully come in and fix the brake problem.
Well, we talked about how kill switch helps you with a stuck throttle. There isn't a whole lot to help you with no brakes.
Yeah, especially at a short track like South Boston where you got to use the brakes. Now it's just a momentum thing for him. He's probably going to be able to lift halfway down the straightaway and just let it roll.
Nick Sanchez to the pits. And you can tell from the lack of hustle from the crew, it's not a good day for Nick. Meanwhile, it's been a great afternoon so far for Tanner Gray. Led the first quarter, green all the way through, led every lap. But I saw a little smoke out of his car, too.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of brake heat in his car. His rotors are glowing. Let's see what Derek has to say.
Nick Sanchez parks the number 2 on pit road right now. The crew going to work at the front end of the car. After talking with the crew, their goal was the second race of tonight. They just wanted to use this first race as a practice session, but they realized that you have to cut a fast lap in the first race to get a good starting spot in the second. So what they did was they taped up the nose, had Nick go out there and do a mock run so they can actually put themselves in a strong position for the second race tonight.
Different approach, Landon.
Yeah, I guess you're kind of throwing away the first race to try to get a good starting spot for the second. So they're using the fastest laps out of this race to set the lineup for the next race. So I would imagine he could probably cut a pretty good one with tape on the grill and pressure's up.
Yeah, and sometimes, your budget forces your hand, right?
Maybe. Hopefully, it pays off for him if he gets a good starting spot for the next one.
Here's Kraus. We've talked about the issues he's had, and do you see him changing how he's driving the cars? Max McLaughlin closes in the one. He seems like he's a bit of a sitting duck, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they're really attacking him on entry. He can't use the brakes, can't get into the corner hard. He's being smart, though, by running the second groove and kind of giving it some space.
We mentioned that he saw a little smoke out of this car. You see it trailing off the back?
Yeah, I mean, I see his front rotors are glowing red, so that could be where the smoke's coming from.
We'll keep an eye on it. Tanner Gray's been smooth so far here at South Boston.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves.
Well, we are a quarter of the way, or more than a quarter of the way through here at South Boston. And the former quarter-mile racer has led everything.
I want to say that Tanner is not sparing any speed right now. His brakes are glowing. He's stretching his lead out. He's definitely on a mission. He's chasing it up the racetrack. He's giving it all he's got right now.
That smoke continuing to come off the back of the 15.
You see his teammate Drew Dollar has worked his way back up to second now.
Well, it's pretty significant smoke, too, but it sure doesn't seem to hinder his performance.
No, but he's clicking off pretty good lap times right now, but the top 3 are all running about the same speed. So he's still got 60 laps to go that he needs to be able to maintain this pace without a threat from the people behind him. I would probably be hearing at this point in the race from my crew chief about my brake rotors glowing and either back off my braking a little bit or dial some rear brake into my car.
Let's get an update from Derek on Chase Cabry.
Chase Cabry from Tampa, Florida, thinks he has one of the best chances to win here at the South Boston Speedway. In 4 starts at Subo, he has 2 poles, 1 top 5, and 3 top 10s. He was 3rd fastest in practice earlier today, and he was the fastest car in the final practice. This is a different car than what he ran last year, but one of the interesting things about Chase Cabry is they have used the same car all season long.
Chase is in that number 4, backed by Honda Generators and Ibach Springs.
And the team of Chases has consolidated this year a little bit. They're able to center their focus on his car a little bit more, and the results have shown for sure.
Sam Mayer right on his tail, and that good-looking 21, he's smoking as well.
Yeah.
It's not hindering him either.
I'm starting to think it is brake smoke on these guys, and you're probably just seeing a lot of brake heat at this track, maybe more than they're used to seeing, and that's what's trailing out of the back of the car.
Sam and the Chevy Accessories sponsor number 21 inside and around for the position.
Sam has shown some pretty steady speed here as he works his way up to 3rd. I could see him being really good on the long runs. He was so good on the long runs at Bristol. Obviously, he got himself a win there because of it.
Led all 150 laps back in April.
We've been going green for a long time here at South Boston. He could definitely play into his favor.
And he's a young driver, too, just 15 years of age, Landon.
Man.
He'll be 16 this summer. And then there's Tanner Gray. Well, he is making a big splash in the stock car world.
Quite a bold move for him to really kind of make a career switch a little bit. I mean, go from a professional driver
where you were a champion.
Talk about a 19-year-old kid at the height of his career, peaking in the drag racing world, and just switching over to circle track stuff.
And look, that's not like it's a small accomplishment. You won the Pro Stock Championship in one of their most competitive classes, and did it in strong fashion and had a bright career in front of him there.
Yep.
And the Gray family, well known in the drag racing world.
Absolutely.
So, it was a huge shift.
I talked to his car owner, David Gillen, and he told me that it really kind of tells him where Tanner's heart must be and what he wants to do. I mean, he's really dove into this oval racing, and he's taking it very seriously, and he's catching on really quick.
He's been showing a lot of strength. Garrett and Davis past the halfway point here at South Boston, or as Derek said, with the nickname Sobo, and inside goes the 30 and around. And that was a classic short track move. Just loosen him up a little bit, and Spencer Davis goes on past the 18 of Colin Garrett.
I'd say Colin Garrett is probably getting tired of getting nudged out of the way.
Well, there's one way to fix that, right?
That's right. Can return the favor. Nobody will ever blame you for doing that at a place like South Boston.
How many of those nudges did you have to take before you finally... Oh, and around goes Ruben Garcia. First caution of the day comes out past the halfway point.
What do you want to guess that came from a nudge?
Pretty safe bet. How many nudges did you take before you gave one back as you watched the replay here?
It didn't take long when I was a teenager, and that's quite a nudge. You can't do much about that one, and if I'm Ruben, I'm not too happy about that. Even if it was the leader, I think that Tanner could have showed a little more patience there, but I would say probably 12, 13 years old, I was returning the favor to whoever gave me a nudge.
Well, this buckles the hood a little bit. I mean, he went in deep.
These composite bodies have a lot of flexibility to them. I mean, you can see the quarter panel on the 6 car kind of buckles and then comes back.
And where's Ruben going? Back to let him know?
He might be.
Hey, bud.
He's sending a little message there.
Yeah, you. I know it was you.
That's hard on Ruben's tires, too. He's going to have a tough restart.
How's that hood look, okay?
I think he's all right.
All right, we'll see when we throw the green right after this. Back here in South Boston, this is the HoosierDriver.org Twin 100s, race number 1 right now here at South Boston. As we said, race number 2 will be coming your way as well here on NBCSN. And there are the spotters here at South Boston.
You can see Lauren Rainier up there with the orange 21 sticker on his headset. That's the guy that had a big part of bringing me to the sport when I was a teenager. He's always had a knack for spotting young talent.
About 4 in from the right with the little gray goatee. That wasn't the guy that spotted your talent level right there. A lot of people would have thought he was more your style. Hey, Derek.
Well, Kyle Wolosik is the crew chief for Haley Deegan in the number 19 machine. She's made pretty good progress so far from starting deep in the field. What's she been saying about the car?
You know, we're just fighting a pretty free-off situation right now. Brakes are kind of fading on us a little bit, but we'll just try to manage them here and get to the end of this one and fix it up for the next race.
That's the word right down here in the pits. They're trying to get Haley Deegan dialed in for the rest of this race and for the second 100 lapper coming up.
What I really like about Haley is she's got great racecraft. She has really matured fast behind the wheel of a stock car. She didn't just come in like a bull in the china shop and come charging through to the front. She's very patient behind the wheel and doesn't take the moves she has to make aggressively until it's time. I'm not worried about her being patient at this stage of the race.
Yeah, but it's interesting to hear him talk about brake issues. I mean, we have seen multiple cars with not necessarily brake issues, but just a lot of brake heat and brake smoke.
Right back to the front goes Tanner Gray.
Good restart for Tanner this time. Drew Dollar, a little better for his teammate Drew in second here. So it's a replay of the initial start, and Drew kind of got a little redemption there.
Watch that 21, though, on the bottom. Sam Mayer. Here he comes, going for second. He seems to have a pretty fast race car, and if he can get around and into second, he might be the one that can give Tanner Gray some fits here.
Yeah, and that caution was really what Sam needed to close the gap a little bit.
Oh, man, did you see him
loose
slide
into
in
the
there?
corner, yeah. He's still holding him off. He's still holding off Drew Dollar, though. That caution, he gave him a chance to close the gap, cool his car down. We know that he's really good on long runs. Now he can kind of set his sights on the leader.
Well, and some of those guys probably needed it to cool their brakes down a little, too.
Absolutely. Don't see quite as much brake smoke now. A little bit from the 21. We've seen that all day, though. We're not surprised by anything there.
Less than 40 to go here in this first 100 lapper.
I'm thinking 37 laps to go. I might give myself 7, 8, 10 more laps of smooth driving, but I'm going to be going hard here pretty soon if I'm in the top 3 or top 4.
These two are starting to heat it up. Derek Kraus trying to get around Haley. Whoop, not going to happen there. Kraus having his issues without brakes and maybe thought the better of it there, didn't want to take his teammate out.
You can just see how slick it is when you're underneath somebody at this place, especially as the tires are falling off. Drivers are really struggling to make an inside pass.
Colin Garrett in the 18 trying to hold off Ruben Garcia, who would probably love to get up to the backside of Tanner Gray. I think Ruben feels like he owes Tanner one. Man, there's another good loose him up move.
Yeah, this
as
is
Davis
South
gets
Boston.
inside of McLaughlin, right? Max holding on.
I think Max has probably had some good advice preparing for South Boston from his dad, wouldn't you say?
No doubt about it. Of course, Mike would have driven the Busch cars, which they were
Here at
called
South
back
Boston.
then at South Boston, and probably modifieds over at Martinsville, where he had to do a lot of gouging and rooting to get past over there.
Yeah.
And then Max has spent a lot of time recently, the last couple of years, in the big block modifieds in the Northeast. You got to be pretty aggressive up there as well.
Well, we got some good talent coming out of the big block modified.
Oh, yeah, Matt Shepard, Superman's pretty solid.
Tyler Dipple as well coming, working his way through the NASCAR ranks.
Max holding down 5th right now. 30 laps to go, so you think this is about where you're going to start to turn it up, Landon?
Yeah, I've probably saved my tires a little bit after this restart just so you don't shock them, burn them up too quick. And if I'm anywhere near the top 5, if I can see the leader, I'm starting to push pretty hard.
Garcia starting to push in the 6. Yeah.
The field is kind of paired up right now, and they're getting aggressive on each other. Got to remind them they're going to need that car for another 100 laps here pretty soon.
Colin Garrett and the Racing for Heroes 18 doing everything he can to keep the 6 pinched down.
I like the position Derek Kraus is putting himself in here. Just kind of giving himself a couple car lengths space. A couple laps ago, I saw him running the second groove. Maybe he could jump to the outside of the 6 car and pinch him to the bottom here. It's a good move at South Boston.
Kraus has 11th. They got the slower car, the 36 in front of him, and that's going to cost Garrett 1, maybe 2 positions. And now Kraus will try the outside here. Crossing up, maybe looking to the bottom. 25 laps to go.
Yeah, they're starting to pinch on each other just a little bit. Garrett's just been on the wrong end of some racecraft a couple times in this one. Might be a good race for him to go back and look at the tape and kind of recap how he raced in traffic. It's not all been his fault. Just learned so much at this level, you know.
Well, Kraus, one of the more seasoned veterans in K&N competition. And he's showing that skill set right here. Didn't have to loosen him up, but was able to put enough pressure on him to open up that bottom if he could just complete the pass.
Right on him. His car changes directions a little better, and it's got a little better drive off. So, I mean, he's just got to keep inching on that 18 of Colin Garrett, and he will get him.
Boy, he was halfway up the door.
He was. Sam Mayer closing in really the first kind of challenge for the lead we've seen.
Yeah, I thought he would be the one that could get up there and give him some fits. And look at that. Tanner went a little wide. And Mayer is right there alongside. And that's the first time we've had a new leader. Well, it's been a good one here so far in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East at South Boston, Virginia's South Boston Speedway. Tanner Gray started on the pole in the 15 and led the first basically 80 laps. He had a moment here where he got into the back of Ruben Garcia Jr. But the real challenge came from the 21 of Sam Mayer, taking the lead with 20 to go and out front now. Only 2 leaders, and they're running 1 and 2 with less than 20 left now. And here's Derek Kraus in the 16, still pushing on the 18 of Colin Garrett. Ralph Shaheen, Landon Castle, and Derek Bernasiglio with you as we race our way to the checkers.
And I called Derek having a better car about 10 laps ago. Don't let me down now, Derek. I called him completing this pass, but Colin is doing a really good job of holding him off right now. And he's not doing it by blocking or anything overly aggressive. He's just kind of running his consistent line.
Kraus is in the top 5 in points in both the East and the West.
Great crossover move there off of turn 4.
Pass. Man, that was about as smooth as you could do.
Yeah, he ran up to the second groove in the middle of 1 and 2 and just crossed him over. Got a tremendous drive off the corner.
That's one of those passes that if you don't really know what you're looking at, it might not look that spectacular, but it was exceptionally well executed.
Yeah, it's hard to make your car change directions like that quickly.
Look at the gap that Sam Mayer has opened up here. What is that, about 2.5, almost 3 car lengths, maybe more now?
Yeah, a little more. I mean, that's a tough gap to close. You can see Tanner just charges a corner quite a bit harder than Sam Mayer. But Sam kind of lets his car roll, drives onto the apron on exit. I'd say that's where a lot of the brake heat's coming from on Tanner's car, probably building up the front pressures. He's probably losing a little front turn.
Drew Dollar and the Dollar Concrete Construction back to 54 sits in 3rd.
He's had some solid speed all day on the 54. You know, had a rough start, kind of dropped back a couple spots, worked his way up.
Yeah, he started on the outside of the front row, but got a terrible start. I don't know if he missed a gear, spun the tires, wasn't ready. About 10 laps remaining here now.
Cabry's been kind of up and back all day a little bit. Top 5 run would be solid for him. I think he wants a top 3, though. He doesn't just want a top 5.
He seems to have the speed if he can just catch Dollar.
Yeah, I like his line. I like kind of hooking the left sides on that yellow line. There's a lot of grip down there, right on that apron. If you could just manage to hold the car there, keep it turned.
What do you feel in the car? You said hooking the car down there. What does it feel like through the steering wheel?
The steering wheel gets heavy. I mean, when you come across a lot of grip on the racetrack, the steering wheel gets heavy and the car responds to it. So it actually, that's why we say hooking. You feel like you're hooking the car to some sort of railing on the lower end of the track, which railing is kind of what this 21 car seems like it's on right now.
Struggling late in the race is Hailie Deegan in the 19 as Mayer puts another lap down on her. And here comes Tanner.
You can just see the difference between the 21 and the 15. The 15 now is a little more unstable up and down the racetrack. The 21 is very smooth, not missing a beat, not missing his line.
They've lapped past 9th place. That's where Hailie is running. These top 2 cars are really flying here today, even though there's a significant gap between the two. Inside of 10 to go. Boy, Tanner must be wondering, what did I do wrong? I mean, he dominated the first 80 laps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's, with the thought of weather coming, he ran pretty hard those first 50, 60 laps until the caution that he brought up, and good little action here getting around the lap traffic.
Right there, Dollar right there, Cabry.
It's only 4 laps to go, and this is for a top 3 position.
So things really starting to heat up with the 4 and the 54 as they fight for the final spot on the podium.
This is about the only thing.
Oh, no! And around goes the 54 all the way up to the wall.
That's going to bring out a caution.
Oh, yeah, he hammered that right side.
Heavy damage on the 54.
And the shower of sparks and smoke to prove it.
We're still green. Oh, there it is. There's a caution. So that put us into overtime.
Cabry got him pretty hard just before. Well, no, actually, you know what? I think.
Turn 1.
Well, that's what you have to do. Less than 5 to go, right? I mean,
Yep. And there's going to be some suspension damage on the front of that car.
Guess what else?
A backup car for the next race.
Well, yeah, and there it is. And Tanner Gray is now right on the back of Sam Mayer.
That's right. So we're going to have a double file restart, green, white checker to the end.
With a win at stake.
Well, Tanner has survived multiple restarts on the front row, but he'll have to do it not from the control position because he's not the leader.
Tanner lost the race out in Irwindale by 0.03 of a second. I bet he'd like to change that here today. We'll be back. Well, last year's race here at South Boston was just what you would expect. Lots of contact. Grant Quinlan on the pole to get it started in the night race. And then it all started. There goes Connor Hall in the 31. Here comes Chase Cabry on the outside, almost 3 wide, going for the lead, which he would hold for a while, then got pretty aggressive behind here, too. Look at this. Cabry having to fight with Tyler Ankrum. And then Ankrum goes for a wild ride. And here's the finish.
Oh, they get into each other again. Big contact from Alfredo, and now Cabry is going to go around. Anthony Alfredo will win at South Boston.
Win one like that, boy, then you got to celebrate, and Anthony certainly did. And somebody will here this afternoon in race number 1 of 2 from South Boston. A lot of legends have raced here at South Boston, as we mentioned earlier. Derek is caught up with one.
Marty Lindley's the crew chief for the number 21 of Sam Mayer. Tanner Gray looks really strong out there. You guys have anything for him for the restart?
I think so. We were a couple tenths better there when the caution come out. We didn't want to see that, but I feel confident Sam can get it done. We just got to keep doing what we're doing.
What kind of feedback has he been giving you today?
Great. Kid's amazing. Really, to be 15 years old and doing what he's doing here, I'm just really proud of him. Everybody at GMS Racing also.
Sam Mayer in the number 21 21, looking for win number 2 this year.
Yeah, he's 15. The guy right alongside of him, just 20. Tanner was only 19 when he won that NHRA championship. A lot of young talent in this series.
It's a first good shot at him for green-white checkered from the front row for Tanner.
Cavery right behind him. Max McLaughlin in the 1. Here we go.
Great start for Sam.
And Cavery, I thought, was going to get into Gray. Tanner's right there. Can he get to the inside?
Looks like he's going to use the bumper.
Oh, he did. Loosen him up. What can Sam do? Beating and banging, swapping pain as they come across the line, down into 1. And then Cavery gets into Mayer. And around goes the 4. We stay green. Tanner Gray on his way to his first career K&N Pro Series East victory, and it comes at South Boston.
Stole it back at the end of the race. Late restart for Tanner Gray. Feels like he's winning a race he probably should have won.
Tanner led the first 80 laps from pole. Sam Mayer the next 18 or so. But those final 2, with an aggressive move to take the lead and the win, go to Tanner Gray.
Aggressive move, to say the least. Tanner Gray did everything he needed to do and everything you would expect from a South Boston green-white checkered.
Just tremendous as everybody moves to the outside to avoid Cavery. And you can see Sam was already, man, he was pushing deep into the corner, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, but it just doesn't matter. Tanner was so close to his bumper. It didn't matter how deep Sam drove into the corner. He was not going to get away from the bumper that 15.
He knew what was coming. And to be honest, Sam did a great job
holding it together.
Yeah, and coming right back down on him.
The question is, can we regain composure and do this again for another 100 laps? I can't imagine that Sam is very happy right now.
Did you see the left front of Sam Mayer's car even came up off the ground? Yeah. And then he got tapped again there. And again, he does a great job of driving.
Cavery really with the short end of the stick. I mean, he was looking at a top 3 finish. Drops him back to 8th.
To victory lane goes Tanner Gray. That's where we're headed when we come back to South Boston. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems. Because everyone loves that fast car smell. We're back here at South Boston, where we just wrapped up race number 1 of the Who'sYourDriver.org Twin 100s. Second race coming up soon here on NBCSN. Tanner Gray is pulled into victory lane. His dad leans in to congratulate him. Waiting for the signal. Here he comes, and we head down to Derek in victory lane.
Well, he's the youngest champion in NHRA history, and now Tanner Gray has a win in NASCAR. Can you believe it? Your very first win. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is awesome. But I can't thank all these guys at DGR Crosley enough for all the hard work. All the guys back at the shop, they brought me an awesome race car, and I tried to screw it up a few times throughout that whole deal, but man, we got it done there at the end. I can't thank everybody from Valvoline, Durst, my mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa, just everybody who has helped me get here. I can't thank them enough.
Sam Mayer had such a strong car. The restart, you were able to get underneath him. Tell us how you did it.
Yeah, he came on really strong there at the end. I slipped up down on 1 and 2, and he just drove underneath me, and he was beating me through 3 and 4 the whole time, and I felt like if I could get with him there that I could hold him tight, but I messed up on that a little bit and just fell in behind him and tried to move him out of the way a little bit. Hopefully he's not too mad at me, but hey, it's racing, and we got the win.
Tanner Gray is used to winning races in a straight line. Now he's won one going in a circle.
Well, here's the results. I can't imagine Sam Mayer's all too happy. Haley Deegan holds on for a 10th just in front of her teammate. Derek Krause, the other name breaks.
Heartbreaker for Drew Dollar. End up 12th after having such a solid run all day. Let's hear from Derek on Sam Mayer.
Well, Sam Mayer almost picked up career win number 2 so far this season, but Tanner Gray had something to say about it. And take us through that last restart.
Well, seeing that I got hit twice and still managed to have the lead on the backstretch, it's pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. But seeing that they had to do that shows that they are scared of us. And we outdrove them a lot, and I feel like that still coming home second and almost hitting the fence in 3, got hit so hard, really does show how great these guys at GMS put together a car, and we're going to go out and win this thing.
How difficult do you think it'll be to just calm down and gather yourself up for the second race? Because right now, tensions are high.
I'm not going to calm down. I'm just going to go out and use this to win. That's it.
Sam Mayer determined to pick up the win in the race number 2.
I don't blame him, but it's how you use that, right?
We're talking about rechanneling some energy here into the right places. I think Sam's got the strongest car, though, on long runs. He may go back that up.
Set that down. Here's Derek one more time.
Not a bad run for Max McLaughlin, who's used to racing on dirt. He comes home with a podium finish this afternoon, and he just seemed to get better and better at this stock car stuff.
Yeah, it's my 5th race ever on asphalt, so to be on the podium in a K&N race already, it's pretty cool. So can't thank HRE enough. Everybody that's given me this opportunity to drive this car. I never thought I'd even race asphalt, so to be here and a podium finish, it's awesome. I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
You said pavement has been a learning curve for you. In today's race, what did you learn you can use in the second 100 lapper?
It's just completely different, it's unlike anything I've ever done. So it's been the braking and roll in the center and, not rushing the throttle. It's just been so much to learn on the asphalt. And, we went and did we ran Bristol, really. And, Bristol was the biggest learning curve for me. That place is super fast. And once I got the knack of, entering wide open at Bristol in the corner, I was comfortable everywhere. So this is our first race since then, our 3rd one of the year. And we started off slow, but I think we're going to be up here a lot more.
3rd place for Little Magic here at South Boston Speedway.
As we said, there is a second one here. They're getting the cars ready. We're getting our coverage ready. You will see it on May 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on NBCSN. Well, they're going to get those cars all set to go, Landon, and we're going to do it all over again. But it was exactly what we expected here in race 1 in South Boston.
A lot of action, beating and banging. Saw some tire smoke, some brake smoke, some damage.
Well, Derek Prentice-Siglio and Landon Castle, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long for now. We're here at South Boston Speedway in South Boston, Virginia. And congratulations to Tanner Gray on his first career NASCAR victory.